One of my favorite tracks on the album is featuring an up-and-coming star, Joyner Lucas. Powerful, real powerful artist.
He's so good too.
He was saying a lot of lines that I saw some of me in that, but at the same time, it was different.
Once upon a time, Joyner Lucas had one of the brightest futures in all of hip-hop. He was a breath of fresh air back in 2017 and had cosigns from people like Eminem. And yet, nobody really cares about Joyner Lucas. And low-key, it's all his fault. And to understand what I'm talking about, let's talk about what made Joyner Lucas special in the first place. So it's the mid-2010s and there's a rise in SoundCloud rappers who don't focus on lyricism. It's the rise of the mumble rap era, right? And when one type of culture rises, a counterculture is bound to rise as well. And from the rise of that counterculture came the search for the next lyrical miracle rapper. And that search in a large part led to the success of Joyner Lucas. Now, I should mention, even before gaining that fame, Joyner Lucas has been rapping since the late 2000s, going through multiple stage names including G Storm and Future Joyner. Not necessarily the best names, but you know, it is what it is.
Henny, I'm ready already, any and every and any and every. Let me put on for any Henny we sipping, especially for women and the women in the sauna, Patrona, Arizona, drinking and thinking.
However, he didn't break through until 2015 with the release of Frost Capriccioni.
Woke up at 7, my day seemed more than I prayed for. Got dressed to head out and ride to school on my skateboard.
It's a storytelling song focusing on the real life story of Frost Capriccioni.
All right, my name is Ross Capriccioni. I'm from Macomb, Michigan, suburb outside of Detroit.
A teen who got shot by his friend and only barely survived.
And he gets out and it's only a couple seconds, I'm looking around.
It's a captivating story to hear from the man himself, but Joyner does do it justice on the track.
Out the shotty and all I heard was a screech and he shot my arm into pieces. I'm thinking I must be dreaming.
And especially with the music video, it was honestly bound to go viral in 2015 YouTube. And viral it went. Though it wasn't necessarily a breakthrough in the mainstream, storytelling songs would become Joyner's bread and butter.
Perfect now, fucking lost. And it's all your fault. Happy birthday, nigga.
And I should mention that throughout 2015 and 2016, Joyner would rise through the ranks. On top of storytelling tracks though, something that got Joyner a lot of traction was remixing popular mumble rap songs, or songs considered to be mumble rap.
I don't really fuck with no brand names. Joyner about to go on a rampage. Ooh.
Basically insulting the artist while doing so.
Hope they get back to the music cause I need some new shit. I'm sick of these new niggas out. I'm that new nigga.
The reason why people gravitated towards this was because it was supposed to be this kind of like, look how much better rap is when you actually use lyrics compared to that mumbling stuff.
Like that mumble rap shit.
And hey, it was a functional gimmick, I guess, and a lot of people enjoyed it. Aside from that though, I should mention that in 2016, Joyner would also release a mixtape with 508-507-2209.
Just make sure you tell my family it's okay. I'm sorry, but it's too late. I'm sorry.
And on top of that, a few months later, Joyner Lucas would break onto everybody's YouTube feed with I'm Not Racist.
With all due respect, I don't have pity for you black niggas. That's the way I feel.
Again, another one of these storytelling songs, but this time with a white person and a black person discussing politics. So yeah.
With all disrespect, I don't really like you white motherfuckers. That's just where I'm at.
The track received a lot of praise in the moment, with many liking the opposing views that were being expressed from both parties, especially with how politically divided we can be. But I'm gonna be honest, this song is trash. And you know, here's the thing with Joyner Lucas. For as good as his storytelling tracks are, they usually don't work without the music video very well. It's the reason why I'm Not Racist, despite being Joyner's most viewed YouTube video, isn't even close to his most streamed songs when the visuals are removed from it. Even if it isn't outright said, I think a lot of people caught on to this. And I think that's a big reason for why Joyner doesn't get as much hype now as he used to. Still though, regardless of how I feel about this song or about Joyner Lucas, most people enjoyed the song, the video, and it is to this day Joyner Lucas' most popular song, or at least his most popular solo song, because 2018 would bring along Joyner's most fruitful year in terms of success. He kicked off the year collaborating with Chris Brown, and honestly, the pair of songs released by the duo were pretty cool.
Mind your motherfucking business, ain't nothing you gotta see.
I Don't Die definitely got a lot of play from me back in 2018, and it was pretty cool to see Lucas collabing with someone like Chris Brown at the time. It was the first taste of mainstream success that Joyner had.
What about me?
I don't think they know.
You guys don't know who I am?
So,
Joyner Lucas.
And he was still throwing shots at the Lil Pumps of the world, so you know.
Oh, you know I'm dripping with the sauce.
Making his thing. And another rapper that made making fun of mumble rap his thing was Eminem.
Yeah, I done did a lot of things in my day. I admit.
Lucky You was one of my favorite songs back in 2018, and upon hearing it, I was convinced that Joyner Lucas was going to be the next hip-hop superstar, or at least that the Eminem cosign was enough for Joyner to be able to make an impact in terms of Billboard success, or just impact on the streets, but you know, it never really happened. And if you ask me, his first real mistake was the release of ADHD. This album was mismanaged to all hell because ADHD released in March of 2020, which wasn't the ideal date, you know, because quarantine and stuff. But on top of that, someone on Joyner's team had the idea to release 9 singles for the album. Although you would have thought this would have led to more promotion for ADHD, what ended up happening at the end of the day was that people were overexposed to Joyner Lucas, each single bringing forward a diminishing return. Especially when you consider that the lead single for this album was released in 2018. 2 years before the album would release. And on top of that, it was probably the worst single you could have picked. But there is another reason why I think the Joyner Lucas hype train died off.
On November 19th, Tory Lanez took to Instagram, claiming he was better than a number of artists, including Joyner Lucas.
The Joyner kid, he's nice, but he can't fuck with me.
It's late 2018, right? Tory Lanez is on an IG live talking about no one can out-rap me. Now, me personally, I thought this was ridiculous. When I thought of rappers back in 2018, I wouldn't put Tory Lanez near the top tier of rappers. And to be honest with you, most people wouldn't. Joyner accepted the call and challenged Tory Lanez to a rap battle, and Tory Lanez accepted.
I'ma do 3 in a week. I got a G to receipt. He did a double off stitching his dad and eventually be in the
Tory would rap over the instrumentation of Lucky You. It was a way of Tory Lanez saying, I can out-rap you on the same beat. But Tory wouldn't have the upper hand for long because Joyner would respond by rapping over the instrumentation of Liddy.
Then you had one chance, now you slumped on. Go back in the booth, make another love song.
And to be honest with you, it looked like Joyner was out-rapping Tory, as to be expected.
We already got Drake and we don't need another. I don't really got space, but I'ma eat you something.
He brought up that Tory is a mini Drake and that nobody really thinks of Tory as their favorite rapper or R&B singer.
You okay, but you ain't nobody favorite. You alright, but you ain't nobody major.
And again, nobody really did. And nobody really does unless they hate Meg Thee Stallion for real. But for all the good that Joyner did, Joyner also rapped one of the worst bars I've ever heard in my whole life.
Me and 6ix9ine had trippy red bitch on the couch. She was giving us threesome, nigga.
And personally, I think this is where I stopped being a Joyner Lucas fan. And to make it worse, Tory Lanez would reply again, and this time it wasn't as smooth as last time.
Man, this shit crazy. Nigga said he out here running threesomes with the nigga that's a court dealing with the kid cases.
And honestly, Joyner could not recover from that.
Felt both times I done took your page to $1 million in a day. If you ask me, nigga, I'm your motherfucking cosign.
Even though he tried to.
I hate to say it, son, but you make me sick. Shoulda knew you weren't be shit when you came out with a baby dick.
oh brother, this guy stinks!
Joyner's final response would be a miss. Honestly, he might have been better off not releasing another song. And honestly, I don't think Joyner ever recovered from it. To be this big, bad, lyrical miracle rapper who cares about lyrics and is all too lyrical or whatever, and to get out-rapped by a guy who predominantly did R&B was not a good look. Obviously, Joyner still carries a fan base. He gets about 4 to 5 million views on each one of his songs, and on Spotify they do a bit better. But man, he really could have been a star. Nowadays, you don't even hear about Joyner Lucas unless his name is attached to someone else. And even beyond the music, you don't hear about Joyner Lucas unless his name is attached to someone else. Joyner has faded into the background of hip-hop, mainly serving as something similar to a rapping Facebook post. And because of that, I just gotta admit, Joyner Lucas is washed. It is what it is. He did it to himself. Anyways, I'm still in a study room, There's probably still echo out here, but you know. Yeah. Shout out to Gay Dilla. Shout out to y'all. Shout out to me.